Coming up on today's show, we got a new recipe on an old favorite and an awesome dessert. Stay tuned. Hi, I'm Rhonda Fitterer.
And I'm Laverne Dede.
And we got a couple submitted recipes, which I know we're always glad to have, but these sound amazing.
They are looking very, very good.
Very good. We have Lisa Myron submitted a chicken Alfredo recipe, and that's just a very common, good recipe, and this is just going to be a new twist. The ingredients that you're going to need for this, just get your pen and paper, write them down so you could cook along with us. What you're going to need is 2 cups dry pasta, 15 to 16 ounce jar of Alfredo sauce, 1 to 2 cups of cooked chicken, cubed or shredded, however you like to have that texture, half a cup of chicken broth, 5 ounces of shredded Parmesan cheese, 2 cups of mozzarella. You're going to need a little bit of garlic and salt and pepper.
Yep.
Pretty easy.
And this is going to be a casserole that we can put it in our...
Put in the oven, prepare, and...
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Now this is one that I can't wait to taste. Susie Kavarichka also submitted a chocolate-covered cherry cake. Just saying it, that just sounds awesome, doesn't it? What you're going to need for this recipe, you're going to need a box of Devil's Food cake mix, can of cherry pie filling, 2 large eggs, a teaspoon of almond extract, and we're also going to have a homemade frosting on this too. So that's the best part. What you're going to need for your frosting is a stick of butter. We're going to need 2/3 cup of Hershey's cocoa, 3 cups powdered sugar, a 1/3 cup milk, and a teaspoon of vanilla.
Vanilla.
Let's just call her Nilla.
All right.
So what are we going to start with?
Okay, well, we want to get the chocolate covered cherry cake in the oven, so we're going to start with that.
Okay.
I do have my water on to boil my pasta, so as soon as that's boiling, we're going to quick put that into the kettle while we're mixing this so that pasta gets started cooking for our chicken Alfredo casserole.
All right, so
we're going to just multitask and we're going to get it all in the oven together.
That sounds great.
Okay. All right. So what we're going to do in this cake is so simple, and if you have an electric mixer, you know, that's going to be great because she says, you know, you want to really beat that to a nice consistency. It's going to be thick, the batter, but it's going to be very good. So we're going to start, I'm going to put the chocolate cake mix into the kettle here. And it says 2 large eggs. So we're going to put that.
So I mean, this recipe is strictly what we're giving the viewers to make, because you're not making it off the box. You're not following the box recipe for this cake.
Nope, it's different. Your ingredients are different. So here I've got some real homegrown chicken eggs. So they're shaped a little different and everything, but they were nice large eggs. So we're gonna put that in there. And then it says we're gonna more can of cherries. Okay. So we're gonna just put that in.
So is this like you see when you're in a restaurant sometimes the Black Forest cherry cake, is this kind of like on that premise?
You know, we're all going to learn this together.
Okay.
Because this is the first time we're making it. So.
All right.
So, but I mean, just looking at the recipe, seeing how easy it is and how good it looks, we're all going to find that out. I think that the cherries, well, they're going to be well blended into the cake mix, but I kind of anticipate they might come a little bit to the top. I'm not quite sure.
Okay,
but we're going to find that out. So then it asks for a teaspoon of pure almond extract.
Okay.
I'm going to put that in there. Set that aside, and that is it. We're gonna mix this up and get that going. I'm going to just put it on a little bit of a little lower speed until we get that blended a little bit, and then I'm going to scrape the bowl down
Okay.
and stuff. So
We got water boiling.
it is. So we're going to come over here for the. I did put a little bit of water. I mean,
water.
some salt in with the water. That always helps. And start with a nice, at least 5-6 cups of water. And
Okay.
stuff. It asks for 2 cups of dried macaroni, and I using the penne noodles. In fact, that's what the recipe. She said the penne noodles work very well.
Okay.
But I think you could use anything that you wanted. So we're gonna get that. Just stir that up here, and then we're gonna turn that down because we want them not totally soft, but when they, that a little more firmness to it.
Okay,
So I'm
because we're
actually-
going to cook it. Bake it.
Right. So we'll let
Okay.
that go. But let me turn up my kettle just a little bit. So,
Oh,
I'm
I
gonna
can smell
scrape that.
almond extract.
that it does. And then with cherry and on top of that, or with it mixed in. So we got that well blended. So it says to mix that on medium speed then for a good 2 minutes.
Okay.
Because it should be well, but beat it well, put it that way. What's my words tonight? Right over my head. But it says the batter will be thick, but it should be well blended.
Okay.
So we're going to spray our 9x13 cake pan
Okay.
for that. And I did put the oven on at 350 degrees,
Okay.
which is nice. And then it says to bake from 30 to 35 minutes.
Okay.
And that, so it's pretty simple,
Yep.
and all that. And then, we'll get that in there, and then we'll make our chicken Alfredo casserole, and then we'll make our homemade chocolate frosting.
That's going to
And
make the
stuff.
cake. So,
It's going to be really, really good. So just getting that blended a little bit longer here. And of course you're going to see the cherries with the mixture. It's blending it up, but you're going to still have some chunks in there and stuff. So, and that. It almost be one that you're going to fight to lick the beater because it's going to be such a good batter, right? Okay, let's see how that's looking there. That looks really, really good. So, I'm going to just be old-fashioned. You wash your hands before you start. So, how do you scrape off a beater?
you lick it.
Oh, that's even better than using your finger. Okay. But that might not be the best.
If we didn't have the camera rolling, I can guarantee you there would have been somebody licking that
We
beater.
would have done that. Okay.
That was the best part about being home and you baking. The beaters.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can see how thick that batter is, but it's still, just with the eggs in there and the can of pie filling, it still makes it, very spreadable. It's not thick like you have to,
Work too hard.
work too hard to get it out. That's right. And the frosting is simple, and one thing with the frosting, when we make that, we'll make the full recipe, and it depends upon how much frosting you like on your cake.
Mm-hmm.
Some people like a good full dose of frosting, and others, and if you don't use it all, you can put that in a container into the fridge, and that's going to keep for you for quite some time. So we just get that spread out there.
Well, in the frosting, we're making it homemade with cocoa and stuff, so it's going to be a lot richer frosting than what you can go to the store and buy.
Well, and better,
Yes.
that and stuff. So let's get that in the oven. Like I said, we have that at 350.
Okay?
Okay. I need to get some pot holders here.
You forgot about some pans in the oven, didn't you?
Yes. When I bake bread or whatever, when I wash my pans and my oven's still warm, I always put it back in the oven to dry the pans to make sure that they don't rust. So we're going to take those out, and they are hot. And I know that they are dry now. Okay, so we're gonna put that in here. And let's set that timer. You know, I'm gonna go the full 35 minutes with this. I pretty much
Okay.
know that that's gonna be, take that. Just stir these noodles up a little bit more here. So we can start getting our other ingredients in our bowl.
Okay.
We're gonna, here, it says 1 to 2 cups of chicken. The chicken breast that I had in the package equals a good 2 cups. So that I'm gonna, you know, that's what I'm using, and I just cubed. And when I make chicken, even though you have all this other ingredients, and I like to season the chicken, it's always tastes better when you season the chicken or when you're cooking it versus afterwards, you know.
Okay.
Kind of
Or in the
cooks
sauce.
Right, yes.
Okay. So you just did it with salt and pepper. Is that how you seasoned it?
Yes, that's all I did. I put a little bit of salt and pepper on there.
Okay.
So we got the chicken here, and we'll be adding the pasta, but we're gonna add, you know, your favorite Alfredo sauce.
Okay.
You know, I just got one here, and this one, it says, you know, what, real cheese, artesian 3 cheese, Alfredo. Anything that says cheese on it's got to be good, right?
Most of the time, I just go for Alfredo.
Oh,
It's just,
okay.
It's good no matter what it is.
And there, you know, I'm surprised because, you know, we have had some recipes on our show already for making homemade Alfredo sauce.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's one that I haven't usually gone out and purchased much, but I was surprised how many different flavors there are or whatever.
Because you
So,
get, I mean, you can get some with hints of garlic and, yeah.
a lot of things.
Pretty
and
much
stuff.
anything.
You're going to use 1/2 cup chicken broth,
Okay.
and I'm going to just pour that in here. So we can just, and I just made my own chicken broth.
Okay.
Look at that. And where we couldn't really just get that scraped out real good, we're going to just clean it out with my chicken broth. So we're going to pour that in there.
Be careful when you do that, though, that you have the lid on tight. I have sprayed it all over my kitchen that way.
Well, our viewers at least would have a chuckle, wouldn't they, if that happened?
I'm sure that would make the blooper reel.
Yeah, that. Okay, now we're going to, it says 1.5 teaspoons of minced garlic.
Okay.
And I do happen to have in my fridge a jar of minced garlic that, you know, I fall back on when I don't have fresh garlic. But you know, this here, if you didn't have minced garlic, just chop up some fresh garlic. That would
Okay.
be work just fine. So we'll put that in there. And now it says we're going to add 5 ounces of Parmesan cheese. Okay, and I'm going to actually let you mix that up there for me, please.
All right.
And that's pretty much all. So it's easy to assemble. You know, there's not a lot that you're going to be having to do. And with the chicken broth and the sauce, and when the cheese melts, it's going to be very, you know, it's creamy. It's not a, you know, it's real nice cheesy casserole.
Right.
Whatever. And then with the mozzarella cheese, we're going to put that on top of the casserole and bake it. The
Do we have to
Parmesan,
cover that then when we're baking it, so it doesn't
actually
burn?
says uncovered for 30 to 35 minutes.
Okay.
So that's really quite easy.
So our cake should come out a little bit beforehand so we can get that frosted before.
That's right. That's why I wanted to get that in the oven there. And it says pepper and salt to taste. And just because I did pepper and salt the chicken and using homemade chicken broth, that is a little bit more salty than if you probably just open a can of chicken broth. It's not quite as salty on that. So I'm actually not going to add any more pepper and salt into this, and add in a little bit of salt into the water with the noodles. You don't want to get it over salty
Okay.
and stuff. So we'll check the noodles here and see how they are coming along. And we'll just, they look soft enough there. So like I said, I don't want them completely done, but you know,
Okay.
just about. Kind of what you'd call par baked when you're baking something that's not fully baked, right?
Sure.
Oh, okay.
Or would that
Okay.
even be al dente?
That's correct. So we're going to take that and we're going to rinse or drain our noodles well.
Okay.
Okay, just get that there, and let's just pull that out. So we're going to put that in there. So, you know, we're starting with the noodles pretty hot, so it's not going to take a long time, you know, to bake too. You know, the other stuff isn't all hot, but in 30-35 minutes, this should really be, you know, nice and hot. You're not having to, the chicken's cooked, your macaroni, your noodle is almost done. So there isn't much to do with it except just heat it well.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to set this aside.
Well, if it tastes as good as it smells so far, we are in for a treat tonight.
Yes. Then we'll take that and we'll spray this lightly here. Okay. So start definitely with a big bowl because you want to be able to mix that well without getting it all over.
And this makes a very nice sized casserole too. So I see this as a good dish for potluck.
It would be. I don't think you'll be taking any of it home if you took it for potluck. That's so. Okay, there we go. And now, like I said, we're going to put our, it says 2 cups of mozzarella cheese, and that's what comes in one of these packages here. So
Okay.
sometimes they just don't open as easy as you'd like. Okay. So we're going to just put that over the top there
Okay.
and spread that out. And this actually bakes at 352, the same temperature that our cake does.
Okay.
So we can just put that in the oven
All right.
now and so our timer still shows 28 minutes. So once we got the cake out, it's not going to be too much longer that our Alfredo is going to be done.
All right.
Okay, now let's make our chocolate frosting. And it actually says perfectly chocolate frosting is the name of the recipe. So it's perfect. So we're going to start with 3 cups of powdered sugar. And I'll just go there. Okay.
That may seem like a
And-
lot of sugar, but it's not.
No, powdered sugar, you know, you have a cup and you put a little bit of milk or liquid in it and it comes down to like a 4th cup. So it isn't much. Now, and 2/3 cup of chocolate, your Hershey's chocolate.
Now, are we
your
using
Cosa-
just, I mean, it's cocoa, so it's
Yeah,
more of
it's
a bitter.
It's
Okay.
cocoa, right. You know, and I just happen to have Nestle's Toll House cocoa on hand. But you know, your Hershey's cocoa, but just plain old cocoa.
Okay.
Okay. And then we're going to put in a teaspoon of vanilla. And actually, you know, I'm going to add the vanilla at the end. I'm going to beat it up well prior. So we're going to add 1 stick of margarine.
And you melted the butter, and that won't matter. You don't have to use cold butter or.
You know, if you melt it when you're beating it, it's going to just whip better. You
Okay.
know, if you put in a stick of butter, it's going to take a while for that to really beat up and stuff. So we're going to start with this. And it says a 1/3 cup of milk, and I'm going to add the majority of the milk, and I'm going to keep back maybe a tablespoon or 2, because sometimes you may not need it. Just depends upon the consistency, what you're going to, you know, have. So we'll slowly get that mixed up there.
Okay.
And start there, and we'll get it well blended, and then I'll scrape it down, and then I'm going to turn up my beater and let it beat for a couple of minutes so it's really nice and, you know, gets light and
Fluffy.
fluffy.
Okay.
And it'll make it easier to spread. It's a better consistency when
Okay.
you do that.
And it looks like a dark chocolate frosting. It's
You know,
gonna be awesome.
It is, and with 2/3 cup of cocoa in there, you know it's going to be dark. It's going to be good. And another thing too, the recipe asks for a teaspoon of vanilla, which is, you know, good. But, you know, you almost wonder, we have this cherry almond cake. I wonder what, you know, you could almost use almond flavoring too. I think it would be really good.
Yes.
Because chocolate and almond goes definitely well together. So I'm going to just put the mixture up a little bit and beat it for a couple of minutes, and then we'll be back here and check it out.
Sounds good.
We've really beat our frosting. It's nice and light and creamy. I did finish adding that extra a couple of tablespoons of milk. So otherwise it would have been a little bit stiff. So
Okay.
there's the cake. Let's go take that out. Okay, let's turn that off and let's just see. I'll just touch that. Oh, that's done. It's perfect here.
And the noodles are bubbling.
And the casserole looks, oh, doesn't that smell good too? So let's just put that on for a few more minutes for the casserole. We're going to bring that over here.
Okay.
I'm going to just put that on the cooling rack here. Now what we're going to do is add our teaspoon of vanilla, and we'll finish beating that up. And I'm famous for my powdered vanilla, but you surely can use a liquid vanilla too.
Okay.
Which I think most people maybe have of that, but I've just really grown to like this particular brand of vanilla. It's got good flavor. So I'll mix that up and just scrape the sides. There.
And I suppose
again.
if you wanted to get really fancy, you could probably have made 2 round cakes out of this and put frosting in the middle and frosting all over. And
You know, and I think there'd be plenty of frosting to be able to do that. So yes, that would be certainly an option or whatever and stuff. So, okay, so we have that already done. And we'll just set that aside here.
but we should allow our cake probably to cool a little bit.
Yeah, we will. I'll just get our frosting.
And like you said, the longer you beat this, the lighter and fluffier it gets. And we did take a little taste test during the baking time of the cake, and I can attest that it really is light and fluffy.
It was good. It is. So let's just go there. I'll wash my hands off. And we're going to just set that aside. And you know what we'll probably be able to do, rather than frosting the whole cake, because it will be still pretty warm and we want that to cool off, we'll probably be able to just take a little corner out and put some frosting on and show our viewers.
And that's not a bad thing either, because it will just melt and it'll
be really, really, really good. Yeah. Nothing like warm cake. Always warm cake. And I think this too, as a warm cake, even putting on some homemade whipped cream instead of frosting, if you know,
yeah,
for an
just
option.
something different.
And that and stuff. So, okay, I'm going to pull this out here, and I'm going to get a couple of plates here, because our chicken Alfredo casserole is going to be done here in just a moment. But I'm going to get a spoon, so when that's done, we'll be able to take that out. What I'm going to do is just cut that a little bit right there.
And you like you said, you didn't know if the cherries were going to come to the top. I do see. I think they're just kind of spread throughout.
You can. It is. It didn't come to the top like I thought maybe it might. So, we'll turn that off there and clear the oven. And let's just put a little bit of frosting on that, or a whole lot of frosting.
You could be generous.
Yeah. So you can see this frosting. It is very creamy, smooth, easy to spread. So we already got our dessert there. And like I said, we'll just wait till the cake cools a little bit
Just
more
to frost the rest.
Frost. Yes, that's right. Now I'll get the chicken Alfredo out now. That smells good too.
Oh, and it looks awesome.
We didn't cover it because it says to bake it uncovered, and it's a little bit of golden brown on there, but not much.
Yeah,
so
mostly
it's
just on the
certainly-
edges. So
it's not.
I kind of like that.
That's what cheese make is really good when it's a little brown like that. So we're going to put that out here. And you know what I would do? I would serve this with some garlic sticks or garlic bread and a little bit and a salad.
Fresh salad.
Oh, you'd have a meal that's fit for a king.
All right.
See, and that's nice and cheesy. So you can see that it does make it nice and creamy, just with the ingredients that we add.
Absolutely.
So,
and I just so have to thank our viewers for submitting recipes. Again, Lisa Myron submitted this Alfredo recipe, and Susie Krivarichka. I hope I said that right, Susie. Submitted this cake recipe. I cannot wait to delve into these dishes. It's going to be awesome because just the smell. Thank you so much for submitting those. To submit your recipes, just go to Consolidated's website, www.ctctel.com, so we could cook them for all of our viewers. As always, thank you to the Workshop for being our sponsor. Have a great evening.